Most people believe success comes from talent. They think the difference between those who win and those who lose is intelligence, opportunity, or luck. They imagine that successful people were simply born different, stronger, smarter, more gifted. But psychology tells a very different story. The true difference between those who rise and those who fall is something far less glamorous, but far more powerful. Discipline. Discipline is the quiet ability to act when your emotions tell you not to. It is the strength to move forward when every instinct inside your mind whispers that you should stop. Because the human brain is not designed for greatness. It is designed for survival. Your brain seeks comfort. It searches for safety. It tries to conserve energy and avoid pain at all costs. Thousands of years of evolution have trained it to protect you from danger, not to push you toward growth. And growth almost always feels uncomfortable. This is why so many people quit their goals long before they reach them. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack potential, but because their brain convinces them that stopping will feel better. Psychologists call this instant gratification. Your mind constantly pulls you toward what feels good right now, even when that decision quietly destroys your future. Scrolling on your phone feels easier than studying. Staying in bed feels easier than waking up early. Avoiding the challenge feels easier than confronting it. And every time you choose comfort over effort, something subtle but powerful happens inside your brain. You reinforce a pattern. Your mind learns that discomfort is something to escape. And the more this pattern repeats, the stronger it becomes. Soon quitting no longer feels like a choice. It feels natural. This is how weak habits are formed, not in dramatic moments of failure, but in thousands of small decisions to take the easier path. The moment a person decides to become disciplined, something strange begins to happen inside the mind. At first, everything feels harder. Your brain resists. It complains. It searches for excuses. It tells you that you deserve rest, that you can start tomorrow, that missing one day will not matter. And in the beginning, those thoughts feel incredibly convincing because your brain is trying to protect its old habits. Habits are powerful because they require very little energy. Once a behavior becomes automatic, the brain prefers to repeat it instead of creating something new. This is why change feels uncomfortable. You are not only fighting the difficulty of the task itself, you are fighting the momentum of your past behavior. Every old habit is like a path in a forest. The more you walk that path, the clearer and easier it becomes. But the moment you try to create a new path, the journey feels slow and frustrating. You must push through branches. You must clear obstacles. You must keep moving even when it seems easier to return to the old road. This is exactly what happens inside the brain. Neuroscientists explain that repeated behaviors create strong neural pathways. These pathways make certain actions feel natural and automatic. But here is the powerful truth most people ignore. Neural pathways can change. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you begin carving a new mental road. At first, it feels unnatural, but repetition creates strength. Slowly, the new path becomes easier to follow. Your brain begins to expect effort. Your mind begins to tolerate pressure. And what once felt impossible slowly becomes normal. This is the quiet transformation of discipline. It does not happen in a single moment of motivation. It happens through consistent decisions made when nobody is watching. Small choices, repeated daily, until one day you realize something incredible. The person you used to be no longer exists. But disciplined people train their minds to respond differently. They understand something that most people never realize. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the training ground of the mind. Every time you choose to continue when something becomes difficult, you strengthen a psychological muscle known as mental resilience. Resilience is the ability to endure pressure, stress, and challenge without breaking. And like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. When you wake up early, even though you want to sleep, you are training your brain. When you continue working even though you feel tired, you are training your brain. when you face something difficult instead of avoiding it. You are teaching your mind a powerful new rule, the rule that says, I do not stop when things become uncomfortable. This is why elite athletes push through exhausting training sessions. This is why great artists practice their craft for hours every single day. This is why successful people keep moving forward long after others have given up. They are not immune to difficulty. They simply refuse to let discomfort decide their actions. And over time, something extraordinary begins to happen. The brain starts to change. What once felt painful begins to feel normal. What once felt impossible begins to feel routine. Neuroscience calls this process neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself through repeated behavior. Every disciplined action reshapes your mind. Every moment of persistence builds a stronger mental structure, until eventually, discipline stops feeling like effort. It becomes identity. You're no longer forcing yourself to continue. You simply become the kind of person who does not quit, and that is the moment everything changes. Because a weak mind waits for motivation, but a strong mind builds discipline. And discipline, practiced long enough, becomes a foundation of freedom.